Thank you.
Well, the owner of the Dodgers went to the oil today, so have to see.
Yeah.
It's his son, is the son of the owner. So
okay, we'll see what happens. Okay, thank you for coming on early. I'm sorry for the late notice. Okay, I'm gonna go a little quicker because I decided they were kratzing around so much with this chuppah. I figured I'll have time now till they do badekin and the ksuba until they walk down that whole thing. I'll have time to do this, and then I don't have to keep everybody late. So we said yesterday we're talking about the first half of tonight's daf is all about tumtums, right? The dinam of tumtum. Tumtum means he doesn't have genitals. I mean, he has it, but they're hidden by skin. So then they cut it open and discover that he's a boy. So we said yesterday he doesn't get pishnayim. He's the bechor. He doesn't get pishnayim. He does. And then we said he doesn't take away the chelik of the bechor too either. And then Rav Shizvi said he doesn't get a bris on the 8th day. And Rav Sharvia said, I think that's where we left. No, that's what we're up to. Okay, Rav Shizvi. Third line down. Kuf Chazayin Amar Aleph. So Rav Shizvi Omar, Af Eina Nima L'Shmoina. He also doesn't get a bris on the 8th day. The Omar Kra Isha Kisas Riya V'Yalda Zachar. A woman, when she gets pregnant and she has a boy, V'Yayim Shmini Yimal. On the 8th day they have a bris. Actually, Zachar Mishas Leda. He has to be a Zachar from when he's born. If he's not a Zachar from when he's born, so then he doesn't get a bris on the 8th day.
Obvious question.
Yeah.
He is a Zachar.
No, but he wasn't then.
Yes, he was.
It was hidden. It was hidden,
so we didn't know about it.
Okay, so we didn't know about it. No,
so it counts as if he wasn't.
Why?
Because it was hidden.
So what? The fact that I'm a genius is I've kept hidden for 76 years. That I'm as smart as Kivega.
You don't have a pus.
Am I doing a good job?
You don't have a pus. You're doing a great job. You're doing a great job. You don't have a pasuk or a gemara as a proof to that.
I'm sure there's a gematria out there somewhere to prove it. Anyways, he's a zachar, but it was not known that he was a zachar. That's, I guess, what you have to say pshat. He was a zachar, but it was hidden. So mamela is not. So, but by the way, I should have pointed this out. It's not talking about that he doesn't get a bris on the 8th day. Why can't he get a bris on the 8th day? He doesn't get a bris on the 8th day if the 8th day is on Shabbos. He's not doiches Shabbos. He's not doiches Shabbos.
So that's totally different.
Yeah, but he still, as your kasha still says, he is a zachar, right? He is a zachar. But it means on Shabbos. So on Shabbos, we're not doiches Shabbos for this, right? That's Rav Shizbi. Rav Sharvi Omar. We need a little bit of hakdama here.
One of those gemaras like last night without the art scroll. How would you know this?
What, Shabbos?
Maybe Rashbam says it.
This one the Rashbam says.
Oh,
okay, yesterday
fine.
the Rashbam didn't say. Yesterday the Rashbam didn't say anything. Right. So that's what I was saying. But yeah. But art scroll definitely helps with this too. Fine. Now the next gemara needs a little bit of akdama. So every woman.
Wait, Reb Tzviagov.
Yes.
This surgery that now reveals him to be a zachar. Would that be considered a major surgery? Would we anyway do a bris like 2 days later?
Enochanami, I have no idea. I probably not.
What do you need the pasuk for?
Enochanami, but I don't know. I hear it's a good point. So Rav Sharvi is going to say that a mother, so normally a mother that has a baby becomes tummy, even if there's no bleeding whatsoever, she becomes tummy for a zachar 7 days and a keva 14 days, and after that till day 40 for a zachar, she any blood she sees after that is tahor blood, even, right? And up until for a girl, it's up until day 80, any blood she sees is tahor blood. So we're going to say that these halachas, Rav Sharvi is going to say these halachas do not apply when the baby that was born is a tumtum. So Shabi Omar Af Ein Imai Tamei Aleda. She doesn't become Tamei Aleda, meaning so whatever if she sees dam, she's a nida. If she doesn't see dam, she's not a nida, and she doesn't have this leniency of 40 days, 80 days. Af Ein Imai Tamei Aleda. The Omar Kra Isha Ki Zazriya V'Yalda Zachar Tamei Shivas Yamim. She becomes Fatama Shivas Yamim. Achi is Zachar Mishas. Later the same thing until she's a Zachar, till he's a Zachar from when he's born. So Meisvei, we have a brisa that seems to say the exact opposite. Hamapeles, a woman has a miscarriage, tumtum or a tumtum, androgynous. So somebody who's an androgynous means he has both genitals, both male and female. Teishev l'zachar l'nekeva. So then she has to sit for a zachar and a nekeva, right? So you see that she does have for androgynous. For tumtum, she does have it. Yeah. Now, what does it mean? She sits for both. If you're tame 7 days, so avadi you're tame. If you're tame 14 days, then avadi you're tame 7 days. No. So what it means is that we said for a girl that's born, you have 80 days if you made tara, and for a boy that's born, you have 40 days. That she doesn't get, meaning she gets the worst of both cases. She becomes tame for 14 days, but the tahar blood only lasts her from day 14 to day 40. She does not get the other kula. Yeah. Fine. So whatever it is, the Brisa says that a tumtum, there is tumas later. So Gemara says tiyufta the Rav Shari. That's a kashan Rav Shari, a tiyufta. So we taka shlog him up. So Gemara asks Lema to have a tiyufta the Rav Shizbi. Why isn't it also a kashan Rav Shizbi? All right. Meaning, if you're saying that
there's a well-loved child.
Meaning, if once you're saying that the baby is normal, so then the baby should have a bris on Shabbos too, right? Meaning, if it's a normal baby that has the regular Yud Beit Tum and Tara, so then good, you have to be machmer like the Zachar and be machmer like a Nekeva, but then she should have the bris on Shabbos. So Tana Svukim Esapkale. So we're saying Enechanami, the Tana was Mesupik. So Mamela, since he's Mesupik L'chumra. Right, meaning we know anytime you have a suffix of a bris on Shabbos, if the baby's born by Nashmashas, there's no bris on Shabbos, right? So because misafik, we're not machal Shabbos for the bris. So the same thing here. So we're not sure, right? If that's the case and you're not sure, so then we should be machmer 3 ways. We should be machmer like Zachar, that the blood that comes out of her from day 14 is tahar blood, but only until day 40. We should be machmer that she's a nida for 14 days after the birth, like a nekeva, and then we should be machmer that she's a regular nida if she sees blood at any time. Meaning, if we're mesupik what this baby's status is, so we should be machmer all the way around. Kasha, so that's a kasha. All right, meaning why is this not a tiyufta? So that's a kasha and tiyufta much different. Tiyufta means we slug up the whole thing. Kasha means we don't slug it up. It's just it's a good kasha. But we don't do more than that. The Rashbam. The Rashbam says interesting because he says yeah, it was missing from the Mishnah. The word nida is missing from the Mishnah. It could be the Mishnah meant nida also. Right. Okay, it's fine. So Omar Rav, Tanya Kava said the Rav Ami. We learned the brisa like Rav Ami. Ben v'loy tumtum. It says a son, and not a tumtum. Bechar and a bechar v'loy suffix. So you see right away that a son gets Yerusha, gets Pishnayim. A tumtum does not get Pishnayim. That's like Rav Ami. And bechar v'loy suffix. And only a vadai bechar gets Pishnayim, not a suffix. So the Gemara asks, Bishlam ben v'loy tumtum k'deravami. That we understand, the son and not a tumtum. That's going like Ravami, right? Which is talking about a case where when he was born, we didn't know what he was, and then we found out what he was later. Ella b'char v'loy suffix, but b'char and not a suffix. Lafuke mai. What's it coming to exclude? What is a b'char and not a suffix? Right? What do you mean? Why? Maybe it's the taka suffix, whether he's a b'char. maybe a suffix, maybe he had another brother born someplace else. So the Rashbam says that can't be the suffix, because then it's pashut, he doesn't get pishnayim. It's hamoitzi mechaver al varai. His brothers are going to tell him, prove that you're a bechor. If you're a suffix of bechor, you don't give the money, because the brothers say, prove it. If you don't prove it, then you don't get it. So what's the case? Lafuke mit the Darish Rava, from what Rava darshan, the Darish Rava shtein noshim sheyoldu beis charim b'machva. 2 women had 2 baby boys in a machva when they were hiding, like in a cave or something like that. All right, and one of them was a bechor, but we don't know which boy was a bechor. Again, 2 ladies in hiding. We have no idea which boy was a bechor. So the eitzah for them to collect the money, meaning these, let's say there's 10 brothers in this hideout. 2 of them are suffix whether they're the bechor. So Rava has a good eitzah. He says what they should do is they should give permission to each other and say to each other, if I'm the bechor, then I'm, meaning if I'm not the bechor, then I'll share. I'm not. You'll share some of the money with me, and if I'm the bechor, I'll share some of the money. They make a partnership, and they tell all the other brothers, hey, you got to give it to us, because either one of us is the bechor, and then they'll split it however they want to split it. Meaning either way, one of these 2 kids is a bechor. So harsha is what we do with the rabbi by mechiras chametz. You give him permission, so they give permission to each other. All right. So meaning now the other brothers can't say, I'm not giving it to you because you don't know that you're a bechor. Because between the 2 of them, they're definitely the bechor. Right, so that's Rava's eitzah.
And how do we determine which one is
one
the
of
bechor?
these ladies? That's the first baby she had. That's what we know for sure. One's a bechor. That's the case.
Yes. Yeah.
But then they got because it was dark. They didn't know which is which. Okay.
Yeah. I don't know. Is it because it was dark?
Well, so they were hiding. They were in a cave. No.
Or whatever.
But how do we know? How do we decide which one is the bechor?
What?
How do we decide?
They don't
which
have
one?
to. They don't have to. These two guys out of Masupik are going to split the money.
They're going to split it.
They'll split it. Meaning his point is that, meaning each one is going to go over, all the other brothers are going to go over to each one and say, you don't know 100% that you're the bechor, therefore we're not giving you pishnayim. They're going to go to each brother. But if the brothers get together and say, you know what, we might as well cut our losses and let's tell them that we're making a deal and it's going to either one of us, then they could at least rescue some of their money.
Why don't we say
These are Yaakov, I'm getting sorry, I'm getting confused.
Yeah.
These are both boys are from one mother. She had twins. What does that have to do with two?
Two mothers. Two mothers.
Two different mothers.
So what are they all? So what are they all? I don't understand.
We don't know. One of them is the bechor. We don't know which one.
But they're
one of the mothers
they're bechor from different families.
No,
it's not one family.
No, it's the father is the same father. The father fathered everybody.
So I don't understand the case. If you could, explain the case. I don't understand the case.
We don't know which baby was the one. He had 2. Let's say he had 2 wives. With one wife, he had 8 kids. Right, and then on the same day he had his 8th kid with this wife. He had his first kid with another wife.
Okay.
All right. So then that kid is a bechor.
That can't be the case. That can't be the case. He impregnated 2 women at the same time, and they were in a cave hiding, and they both give birth. If he has 8 previous kids, then it can't be a bechor.
Well, he's a bechor.
From the mother.
From the mother doesn't get pishnayim, only from the father.
No, I'm sorry. You're right. No. You're right. I mixed up the case. Thank you, Avi. It's got to be his first. It's got to be his first. Right? It can't be.
The second woman is someone else's wife completely.
Correct.
It's not related.
Correct. No. The second wife, they're both his wife. Right?
It's a shell of Reish Zaina. Whichever one is born first.
No. They're both. but he had this. Here's the way to go. I'm sorry. Rabban, you made everybody confused, but you're bringing out that we're also confused. Good, thank you. he had. Let's go with 3. He had 3 wives in the cave. One wife he had 8 kids with. Fine, she's out of the picture, right? Then he had 2 new wives. He got married to 2 wives. Obviously, he got married to 2 wives on the same day. They both got pregnant the same day. Why not? They both got pregnant the same day.
If he had 8 kids already, that first kid is the Bukhar.
No, no. You mean those 8 kids came later? Okay, you're right. Those 8 kids came later. I'm sorry. You're right. I mixed up. Yes, those 8 kids came later. You're right. I'm sorry. Let's go back. He was a newlywed in the cave. He's a newlywed, right? Newlywed in the cave. Somebody's got to mute, please. He's got a newlywed, 2 wives in the cave.
No, it's very simple. Yeah, I'm sorry to interrupt you. Lot has 2 daughters in a cave, and they both get pregnant one night after the other. Ammon and Moab. How do we know which one is born first, Ammon or Moab? They're hiding in a cave. Nobody knows which one is the older one.
Right.
So who gets Lot's Bechor?
Correct.
Which one's Lot's
100%.
Bechor?
But there's other kids here too.
Right.
Right. So then he must have got married a month later to somebody else. Let's call it that. And now there's other kids that are all yashining him. And we're masupik about the first 2. Who's the Bechor? Yes, thank you. That's the way to roll. Yes, Rabban, is that good or?
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's so again, like Avi said, so he had like Light's 2 daughters, right? One of them had the oldest, and one didn't. We don't know who it is, and then he had more kids. So the more kids are going to tell each one of the Suffolk Bechars, you don't get Pishnayim, prove it. So then the 2 Bechars, Rava says, here's a smart thing for you guys to do. Get on the same team, right? Achdus always makes you more money, right? Usually, right? So get on the same team, and then they have to give you the money, and you'll split it, right? So that's what it means that a suffix, it's a Bechor and not a suffix. So meaning you cannot do, the Bryce is saying you cannot do Rava's shtick. Suffix Bechor, neither one of them is entitled to get it. Right? Fine. So Amalei Rapapa Rava. So Rapapa said the Rava Hashalach Ravin Davar Zesha Alti L'chol Rabbaisai. I asked this question to all my rabbanim, V'lo Yamru Li Davar, and they didn't tell me anything. V'ram Kacham Mishum Rav Yanai. But this is what they said in the name of Rav Yanai. Hukru Ulu B'Soif Nisarvu. So now we get into a real lumdus of how when sfeikas happen. So what I'm saying, if they knew which one was the Bechor. Let's say, like using your similar example from Bereshis, they tied a thing on one of the Bechor's feet. It's the first one that was born. They tied a string on his feet, right? And then the string fell off. So then they became a supik. So Hukrulu b'Soif Nisarvu Kaisvin Hashah Zelazeh. Then they could write the Hashah to each other, right? Because at one point there was knowledge of it, and then the mixture happened. But if nobody had any idea which one was born, they were born mamash in the same minute, they put the babies down, they have no idea, and they never had an idea, and then they can't do it. So he's saying something in the middle. The Brisa says this, you can't do this shtick that they combine. And Rava said you can, and now Ravin is saying somewhere in the middle. If you knew about them and then they got mixed up, it's fine. You could do the harsha. If you never knew about it, then you can't. So Hadar Uki Rava Amira Ale the Darash. So then Rava went and he stood up in Amira. Amiroim back then, right? Amiroim back then, they were like megaphones, right? The Darash Dvarim Shah Marti Lachem Toys Ain't Biyadi. The things that I told you is a mistake. This is what they say in the name of Rav Yanai. If you recognize them and then they got mixed up, they write a hashah to each other. If you don't recognize them, then you don't write it. So okay, so that's the end of that. Now for the rest of the Amud, for the rest of the daf, we get into who's believed to say that the son is a bechor. Yeah. So Sholchule b'nei Akra da'agma l'Shmuel. B'nei Akra da'agma is the name of a place sent to Shmuel. Yelamadenu Rabbeinu, can you teach us how you muzakin b'zeh shehu bechor? If they had a chazaka that this guy is a bechor, right? Meaning the everybody assumed that this guy is a bechor. V'amar aviv al acher bechor, who then came along the father and said that it's somebody else. So Mao, what's the din? So Shalach lahu. So Shmuel sent to them, Kaisvin Harsha, they should write a Harsha to each other on Talmud Beis. Kaisvin Harsha, Zelazeh, they should write a Harsha, and they divide it. Meaning we have a suffix now. Everybody thinks that one was a Bechor, and all of a sudden the father comes and drops a bombshell and says this guy is not a Bechor. Right? So this Shmuel gave this Eitzah to do this. So the Gemara asked, what kind of Eitzah is that? Manav Shach. If he holds like the Rabbanan, Lishlech Lu Karabbanan, then he should send the answer to the people of Akar Da'agma, like the Rabbanon, which is that the whatever the father said doesn't count. Whatever everybody assumed was the Bechor is the Bechor. And Rabbi Yehuda, and if he holds like Rabbi Yehuda, Lishlach Luka Rabbi Yehuda. So then let him send back to them the answers like Rabbi Yehuda, that the one that the father said is a Bechor, which we didn't see this machlokes said. The Gemara is about to say it. Meaning, why is he sending them to do this eitzah of they should team up with each other and then split the money? He should either pass like the Rabbanon Rabbi Yehuda. So the Gemara says, he wasn't sure what to do. So he told them, like anytime a dayan is not sure what to do, he tells them to split it. Right? So what is the machlokes? The Tani we learned in the Brayse, Yakir, Yakirenu. It says if Pasuk says Yakir, a person has to recognize who his son is. Yakirenu la'acherim. Meaning he can show other people, the father can show other people who he is, who the Bechor is. Mikan Amar Rabbi Yehuda, Neman Adam Loimer Zeh B'ni Bechor. A person is believed to say, this is my Bechor. Ukeshem Neman Adam Loimer Zeh B'ni Bechor. In the same way, a person is believed to say, "This is my bechor." Kach neman adam loimer zeh ben grusha v'zeh ben chalutza. He's also believed to say, "By the way, I remarried my wife, and I'm a kohen, and my kid is puzzle." He's believed to do that too. So Rabbi Yehuda holds we believe a father when he says his son is a bechor, his son is not a bechor. But Chachamim say, "Einay neman," he is not believed.
Why would he? Why would you not be believed? Migu, I could have just given the entire bechor to somebody else in terms of the other child, or at least a double portion of it.
What are you saying?
Since it's biyadai to go ahead and give that double portion before he dies, why isn't he believed now? Migu, I could have just given him the double portion.
Oh, so the Gemara is going to say something like that. Let's go. Yeah, very good, very good.
But he didn't. But he
a person's naman, a person who's mofsek is something is naman with a migu.
Yeah, so the Gemara is going to say.
That's what we learned throughout Shas. Migu is an amonis.
So it's not really a migu. Let's say because
it is a migu. Why is it not a migu?
For Gary, you could say better, which is what the Gemara is going to say. Why can't he just give his kid a present?
I agree. He could have given his kid a present, but I'm saying you should get the amonis of a migu.
So let's see. So Amarle Rav Nachman Bar Yitzchak Gemara asks Amarle Rav Nachman Bar Yitzchak L'Rava Bishlam Rav Yehuda Hainu L'Siv Yakir. So according to Rav Yehuda, I understand why he needs to say Yakir, right? That the father, we believe the father to say he recognizes his kid. El Rabbanon, but according to Rabbanon Yakir Lamali, what do you need to say Yakir for? Right? They hold that you don't believe the father. So Gemara says, but Sarach Haker, it's talking about where you need a hecker, meaning they moved out of town. And the rabbi is trying to find out who's this the bechor. So you call the father and you trust the father, right? But otherwise,
wife says it's not the bechor.
So
after the father says that.
Yeah, so that's going to be later on in the daf and tomorrow's daf. This is when there's no competition. Yeah, they're very good. The Chachamim are saying we need it to tell you that we believe the father, right? So the Gemara says, "Lamai hilchaso." What is the halacha here? This is sort of what Akiva was asking. Lameis v'loy pishnayim. What's the difference if we try? I mean, we know everybody admits that it's this guy's kid, so he's definitely getting the Yerusha. So what's the shaila? Pishnayim, loye ela acher, right? Even if he taka was somebody else, right? I mean, if the father really wanted to give this kid money, right? So then give him money. What are you making him a sugar that he's your bechor and he's going to get you pishnayim? Just give him the money now, right? So Gemara says, it's talking about where the nechasim that came to him after this, meaning he after, and this we discussed yesterday's daf, the day before, is that you can't give a present away if you didn't yet receive it. So it's talking about what's going to be if this father now yarshins from his father. So yeah, he can give his kid, this guy, a present if he wants, but he can't tell him, oh, you know, the Yerusha that's coming from my father, you're getting pishnayim on, because he can't do that because it's not his yet. So that's why it's negay. If he's trusted, then he could do this. If he's not trusted, then he can't do this. I'm not sure my example is exactly the same way, but yeah. So okay, the Gemara asks about Meir Damar Adam Makna Davar Shalab Eloilam, but according to Rameir, who says a person can give over, I don't know why the Gemara is waiting till now to ask Rameir. He could have asked this a couple of blot ago, I think. So the Rameir Damar Adam Makna Davar Shalab Eloilam, we know that Rameir Shita is that I can sell you something that's not here, meaning I could sell you the future fruits that are growing from that will grow from my tree, right? Not everybody agrees to that, right? But Rameir holds yes. So why can't he taka give it? So Gemara says Yakir Lamali. So then why do, according to Rameir, why do you need the word Yakir? In the Chasam Shanafalekashu Gaisis, you need the word Yakir because let's say it fell to the father when he is a Gaisis, meaning when he's about to die. Even Rameir holds that when somebody's about to die, he cannot give over any property. All right. So Mamela, when do we need the word Yakir? To say that if the father said that the kid is his bechor, he's believed, and it will help in a situation where the father inherits or acquires new property when he's a goisis. All right. So therefore, and then he's believed on that. All right. Fine. So Tana Rabban. Let's do a few more lines because I got to go to text me to the starting. Tana Rabban. Let's say he had a chazaka. See now, Rabban, this gets into what you're saying. There was a chazaka that a guy had a bechor. Va'amar aviv al acher shu bechor. And then the father came along and said somebody else a bechor. Neman hayu. Neman, he's believed. Hayu muchzaken by she'ena bechor. Let's say he has a chazaka that he's not a bechor. Va'amar aviv bechoru. And the father says that he is a bechor. Eina neman. He's not believed. So what do you see? This price of Reisha Rabbi Yehuda, the Sefer Rabbanon. The Reisha is Rabbi Yehuda, and the Sefer is the Rabbanon. Which a lot of times the Gemara asks a kasha. How could it be that the Reisha is Rabbi Yehuda and the Sefer is the Rabbanon? All right. So, but here the Gemara doesn't ask that. The Gemara seems to be fine with this. That the Reisha is the Rabbanon, and the Rashbam points it out. It says Benichusa. The Gemara is not asking a kasha. The Gemara is just saying, yeah, okay, there's a brisa. One is going according to Rabbi Yehuda. That he's believed, and one is going to go to the Rabbanon that say that he is not believed. Okay, it's cutting it a little short here, but I'm gonna stop over here. I thank you for tuning in. I should be back around 10 o'clock for the kitzur. If not, I'll post it out.
And tomorrow's regular time?
Tomorrow's regular time, yeah. Yeah. Then
What's
Sunday,
regular?
8:15. 8:15. Yeah. Okay, Lamnatzeich Mizmor LeDavid, Adon Adonai Tishkacheni Netzach, Adon Tastes Panecha Mimeni, Adon Asher Tzeises Panav Sheyogim V'Vor Yomim, Adon Yoram Ovi Eloi, Habita Anini Adonai Eloi, Hayira Ene Pen Ishan Amavis, Pen Yom Ovi Yichalter Tzar Yagilu Ki Yomait Vani V'Chaz Lecha V'Tachti, Yogel Livi V'Shuvasecha Shivul Adonai Ki Gomal Eloi. Achinu Kaveis Yisrael Anasanu Basar Hashem Yom Devei V'Yom 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 Akim Yonachim Eliyem Yitzem Etzar L'Racha Me'Yafei L'Loira Meshibad L'Gula Ashto Ba'Agolo V'Zman Koriv V'Naimar Amen. All right. Thank you again. All right. Good to know.
Also.
Thank you. Good night.